This is something that I have been praying about going live about and sharing with you all about because it's only going to make me a lot more enemies. But I think that it's important that this is getting exposed, that a lot of people are being paid for their opinions on the right. And I talked about this. I talked about this on Twitter, that a lot of people are being paid for their opinions and they aren't transparent with their audience that they're being paid for their opinions. And then I talked about this in my stories, and now I want to do a longer video about it here on YouTube about how people on the right, and I think this happens a lot on the left, are paid to post opinions, paid to retweet, but they do not tell you when they are doing this. So they don't tell you when they post a tweet or post an opinion and that tweet or opinion was paid. And this is happening a lot right now on the right. I would say most people that are on the right that are conservative commentators and conservative influencers are getting paid behind the scenes to post opinions that are very well constructed, and they don't tell their audience that they are doing this. This is something that I found out this last 5 months because some of you know, especially the people that have been following me for a while, know that I didn't have that big of a following. I'm just a former public school teacher of 15 years. If I wanted to be a big social media influencer, I would have done it on something like cooking or something like dogs. I love dogs. If that was this receives so much hate. I have lost my family for speaking up on stuff like this, speaking up on what I believe is to be true and what I'm convicted on. I've lost my family. Slowly, some of them are coming back, but most of my family was Democrat, very much hate Trump, right? And I came out as a Trump supporter and I lost my family. My mom told me that I support a psychopath. My brother stopped talking to me. My sister stopped talking to me. I had a lot to lose because I love my family dearly, coming out with all this stuff and being a fierce supporter of, and I agree. So that's part of the reason why I started posting on Facebook, because I was living in California and I was living in a very left-leaning area, Santa Cruz, Monterey. I felt very alone because I started speaking against the left and I started supporting Trump, actively supporting Trump. And I lost my family and I felt very alone. So I started posting on Facebook, especially during the Black Lives Matter time, because I had a bunch of left-leaning friends that were saying stupid things. And I started posting on Facebook and I didn't ask for a following. My Facebook was private. I didn't come into this being like, hey, I want to be the next conservative influencer. I want everyone to come to me for to see my take and my opinion. That is not what I'm in this for. My main ministry is my school. Now, let's talk about the last 5 months with my accounts. I've grown a lot. I think once you hit 100,000, you start getting recruited by people. You start being asked to promote stuff. And guess what? You get asked to post an opinion and it's paid. And I've had some people tell me, you're not giving any evidence of this. And I'm telling you that everyone on the right is doing this right now. Most everyone. I wouldn't say all of them, but most everyone. And it's easy for me to see how they're doing it and what they're doing because I've been approached to do this myself. And I'm also going to be fully transparent with you and tell you guys that I did it once and it made me feel sick. I remember calling my friend who she's done like fitness industry stuff. And she's like, yeah, this is totally normal. Like you get paid, you already agree somewhat with this opinion. You get paid to post it. You don't need to tell your followers, just post the opinion and, the specifics that they want you to say and just post it. It's not a big deal. And then they'll send you a check. And I'm just like, whoa. So I did it and I got sent a check. And I was like, and then I went and looked up everybody else that did it because there's a whole network of conservative influencers that are getting paid to post opinion and they don't tell you when that happens. And it's different rates. The higher up people get much more, but the lower people like myself, we still get a couple $100, stuff like that. And like I said, I did it once and it made me feel sick. And that's why I want to come to you guys and tell you that this is happening. This is going to create so many enemies. I think I'm going to always be on the outside looking in. There's a lot of gatekeepers in the conservative movement right now. They don't want anyone else to get big that they don't trust or that they don't want to be part of their little crew and their team. And I don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm 40 years old. I have a school to run. I am who I am. I spent 15 years in the public school education, being around all of these leftist teachers. I've had to censor myself for 15 years around these crazy people. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to censor myself anymore. And there's a lot of people that play by the rules when they become big or social media people, and they won't go outside the box because they don't want to lose followers. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. What you guys are just going to get who I am, what I believe, and I'm not going to hide things from you because I don't want to lose followers and I don't want to piss off the establishment or whatever. So I'm going to go back to the fact that people are getting paid. And if you guys can hear the nervousness in my voice, that's because this does make me nervous. Like, I've trusted these people. I trusted their voice. And it makes me sad to know that there are so many people on the right that are getting paid to push narratives, to post about certain things. And I think it's happening so much bigger than it's so much more prevalent than I thought, that I even imagined. And it's happening all the time. And I just want to give you guys an example of it. And some of you may not like this. Some of you may not like this. You may not like me exposing this because we like these people. We fall in love with them. But this is just the reality of what's going on right now on the right. And I think we need to keep on our toes. I also don't think we need to play like leftists. We need to be on the side of integrity. I believe that the left does this a lot. That's how they get hashtag campaigns started. They pay all these influencers. They pay all these people to do these hashtags, and then they get this thing started. But they are, and I appreciate all the comments. I'm seeing them, but we don't need to be like them. I don't think the idea of being the Diet Pepsi version of Pepsi is effective. We need to be completely different than them. We need to be the side of honesty and integrity and transparency. I also think that when you have a following, that's a gift. You're supposed to treat your followers, trust you. And if I were to say put posts and put opinion and not tell you guys that not tell you guys that I'm getting paid for this, I think that's a violation of your trust and and your trust in me and your following and all of that. And it's happening all the time. So again, part of the reason why I know, because I've had people tell me, you need to share evidence of this. For one, I can't expose the names of the groups that are recruiting these people and doing it, because they'll probably sue me. Because like I said, I did it once and it made me feel sick. But I can share with you guys kind of how it works. And I'm going to do it with Ron DeSantis because it's happening a lot with Ron DeSantis. So let me show you guys this. So Ron DeSantis, he's going a very different route. He had 150 people to his Four Seasons resort in Palm Beach, a 3-day event to his mansion. And in that event, he hosted a lot of influencers. And there was 150 people, but about half of them were influencers, were people that have social media followings. I don't think this is actually the right article, so let me switch this out. And the whole point of it is to court influencers to share about Ron DeSantis and also to pay them to do this. And there's an article that came out on the Daily Beast, and I know that the Daily Beast is left-leaning garbage. I know that, right? But unfortunately, the right isn't exposing this because they're protecting these people, and people aren't talking about this because they are all worried about their money. So all the right-leaning commentators, they're all doing this, and they kind of stay together and hide it from you guys because it is money. It's good money to be able to just do a tweet and get paid hundreds of dollars for that. Imagine being able to write a 10-second tweet or retweet someone and getting hundreds of dollars for that. And so It's just this is happening way more than you could imagine. I know how to find these tweets now, and so it's like I could see all the list of the people. My husband was really on it. When he found out that this was happening, he was like looking up all the hashtags that they were telling you to use and be like, "Oh, this person does it, this person does it, this person does it, this person does it, this person, everyone does it." There's very few that don't do it. Some of the very biggest names don't do it, like the names that have been around for 10, 20 years. But all the people that came out this last 6 years, all of the conservatives that came out this last 6 years, the right leaning that are really just in it to give their opinion, they're not really there to save this country. That's another red flag. If they're just getting 5-star treatment to give their opinion about a sinking ship country, our country is a sinking ship right now. If that's all they're doing is just giving their opinion on stuff, then they're in it for the money. That's just facts. Because if they're this great, brilliant mind, why aren't they actually doing stuff to stop this? Why are they just sitting back and watching? Oh, it's burning. Oh, this country's burning. Let's just sit back and watch it burn and make money while we're watching it burn and be the commentators on the sidelines, getting paid thousands of dollars and 5-star treatment, being treated like a rock star about this. So this is happening. So I want to go back to this article. And like I said, I'm nervous about this because it is hard for me to do this. I love these people. I've met a lot of them, but this is happening. So Ron DeSantis he courted influencers. And it says here, let me go back. Here's one of the conservative influencers that I didn't realize I was being used. They started recruiting them. DeSantis, they started doing a sprawling influencer campaign. It's not a lot of the big influencers. I don't know if you'd call them mid-tier influencers. So that's right. It's the people kind of in the middle. There's a few big ones, but it's the people in the middle, because here's the thing. When you're someone like me, you're not making money on these platforms. Like the people with millions of followers, they are, but the people that are in between, they aren't making money on these platforms. I think a lot of them came into this and were like thinking they were going to have a whole new job, right? They're going to just be able to make YouTube videos and make money and have a whole new job being a YouTuber. They hit 200,000 subscribers and they're like, wait a second, I'm only making, the most I've ever made on my YouTube is $400, like and in the month. Usually it's around 28. I've had months as low as $20. I've had months where I've made nothing. And you don't make very much money, especially if you're doing these things, because they demonetize you and the algorithms have changed. I've heard that back in the day, YouTube used to be really easy to make money on, like if you had 200,000 followers. Now it's not like that, especially if you're on the right. So I think these people come in thinking they're going to be making a lot of money when they get these followings, right? And they're not. And then all of a sudden they get offered this chance to start posting for money. Like you do a retweet and you're going to get $300. Make a reel or a short and you get $500. And a lot of them say yes to this. Or you have your followers click on a link and you get paid $1 every time they click on the link, and you tell your followers that they're doing that. This is facts. This is happening right now all the time on the right, especially the people that are in the middle. Like everyone who has a following from like 100,000 to about 1 million, they are all doing this. And then the big people, they're also in on it, but they're getting paid a lot more and they don't have to do it as much. They only do it for the big stuff. So for example, I'm going to keep going. This article is good to read, but it basically goes into how there's a team of influencers that when Ron DeSantis does something good, right? He does something in Florida. It's not that big of a deal, right? But they go and they hype it up to you, and they get paid to repost it and hype it up to you and say, look at this based thing Ron DeSantis did. And they turn it into a big, big story, right? And it gets 2 million shares because there's 100 influencers or 50 influencers going and sharing this post about Ron DeSantis and the great things that he did, right? And so this is just very common. The left does this a lot. This is all these mid-tier, like this guy right here. They make sure they're sharing all of the big things that he does that we wouldn't even know about unless these influencers were paid to repost. And then again, they tell you to be very specific. That's how I know how to find these posts that they do. That's how I know how to find and recognize them when they're doing these paid campaign posts that they don't disclose to you. Because first of all, they all sound the same. They'll redo the language, but it's a little different because everyone has their own different style, but it's all the same language. They have to get in all the certain talking points because when you get these campaigns, it has specific talking points that you're supposed to do. How do I know this? I did it once. It made me feel sick. I will never do it again. But it was very specific, and I was able to look up all the people that did it too. And my husband went and looked them all up, and it was a ton of them. So I just wanted to come on and tell you guys this. And I'm not going to name names. I think time will tell. Time will tell. You judge people by the fruit. If you're seeing people just getting paid to comment and complain when our country is a sinking ship and they're not really doing any action to help it, they're just flying first class. I mean, I'm not against flying first class. It's great. But if they're just getting 5-star treatments and doing all of these, expensive vacations with the money that you gave them, that you supported them with, and they're not reinvesting that into saving our country, if they're just doing this to become celebrities and to get praised and to make a bunch of money and to live a 5-star life, while there's people that are working, that are truck drivers and everyday workers that are like, here's $20 of my money to you. I've had people send me super chats and stuff like that. I know that there's not rich people are sending me these little super chats and stuff. And I should be a good steward of your following and your belief in me and your money that you've given, instead of going and just turning it into, this is my show and I'm just going to live this 5-star life and never do anything to really save this country. And it's different if you're like a fitness person or if you're a food person, but when it comes to like the education of our children, the collapse of our republic, the trans stuff, we need to actually be taking action, not just sitting on the sidelines and complaining. We are in a 911 status in this country. And if people are just sitting on the sideline, getting paid millions to complain, and then on top of that, getting paid to complain, to share opinions, and they don't disclose that to you. They don't tell you, hey, I got paid to do this post. And I think that's okay. I think we need to normalize that. I think a lot of people are afraid to say that they're getting paid for this. Like, let's say I have a link to a PragerU video and PragerU asks me to promote it and they pay me to promote this PragerU video. I should be able to tell you guys, hey guys, this is a promoted post by PragerU. They want me to have you guys click on this link. It's awesome. And I'm getting a little kickback from this. So thank you. Why can't people do that more? But they aren't. They're hiding it. They're not being transparent to you. They're getting paid for their opinion. They're getting paid to retweet. And again, this has been a hard thing for me to expose because it's going to create a lot of enemies. But I just want you guys to be careful when you're listening to these people, because a lot of them are bought. They're bought. They're not in it to save America, but they're in it to make money and to be famous. They might have started in a really good place, because I think power and money does corrupt. And when you get a lot of fame and when you get a lot of popularity, it's very tempting. And I think that's part of the reason why God has allowed me to grow slowly, and he continually humbles me, and he has people unfollow me in mass when I share my true opinion on things, because that's just what I am. I'm not going to hide who I am from you guys. So it's and you'll notice that a lot of them have switched their platforms to only talk about pop culture things because they don't want to get demonetized. They don't want their money to get messed up. So, okay, let's complain about, Cardi B or whatever, and not really complain about Joe Biden, because that means that you'll get, your video will get shadow banned and it won't make as much money. You'll notice that it's just very common right now. And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I had people saying, where's the evidence? The evidence is that I did it once and I will never do it again. It made me feel sick, but it's happening. And now I know how to find these posts and find these videos and these reels that are paid. They're very specific, and pretty much everyone is doing it. I pray that darkness will come to light. I don't think that these people are evil, but I do think that they are being deceitful to their audiences, and that we need more transparency. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I made this video. That's why I wanted to share with you guys. So, yeah, so that's that. I mean, it broke my heart. There's a lot of these people that I have been looking up to and following, and then I started noticing a switch. I've started noticing a lot of posts that just seem a little bit like, wow, that doesn't even sound like their voice. And it's different than a sponsorship. I'm not against people making money on this kind of stuff. If you get sponsored, my husband's calling me. If you get sponsored and you get a sponsor to sponsor your video, and you disclose that at the beginning of your video, and you're just like, hey guys, this video is sponsored. There's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. That's great. I mean, we give a lot of our time and energy to you guys. I could be doing something else for my school right now instead of doing this live. But I also care about the American people. I care about truth. And I want our side to be the side of truth and honesty, and not these deceitful hashtag campaigns like what the left does, where they pay celebrities and they pay all these left-leaning influencers to start doing this hashtag, and they think it's grown organically when it's actually started by Soros. That happens. Okay. So that's that. Thank you guys for joining me on this live. I will be doing more lives, especially now that I know that you guys are okay with me just doing them randomly and not really getting ready and just jumping on and doing a live. It's really awesome to see that can happen and that people actually come and view them. And hold your people accountable. Hold them accountable. Ask them if they've been paid to post and see if they're silent about it. That's one good way to do it. I think people need to be asking what and let's make it transparent. If you are going to post something that's paid, say sponsored post, or this post was paid for by blah blah blah, instead of just posting it or retweeting it and not telling people that this is paid, that this is sponsored. Because again, I think it's being dishonest to your audience, and your audience deserves transparency. But God bless you guys. Thank you for joining me on this random afternoon live. Well, it's afternoon in Florida. And exciting news, I'm probably going to be on Fox News tomorrow morning. I'm not a big fan of Fox News, but I'm on TikTok. I will use any outlet to get my message out possible right now. If they could have me on CNN, I'd go on CNN. And I think it's going to be around 10:50. They said it's going to be the morning show between 9 and 11. And it's going to be about what I think of TikTok and getting banned 7 times on TikTok and why I'm still there. And I think that we need to have an alternative that's similar to TikTok here in the US. It's basically the same thing, but ban TikTok. And I'll be going into that. So hopefully that interview comes through. And also, yes, I like that, Mr. Equalizer. I'm going to go ahead and I like your name too. Yeah, I do have some people that have been following me for a while that before I've had over 100,000, which still isn't even that much, but and they know my deal. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. And that's part of the reason why, I'm sharing this with you, that this is happening. You guys need to know that a lot of people are paid for their opinions, and they don't tell you that they're being paid for it. And that's that. So, all right. See you guys next time. God bless you. Thank you for coming to this live. And I want to give a special shout out to JC. I'm going to, because he's the one that has been asking me to do lives since he first started following me. He's like, when are you going to do a live? When are you going to do a live? And then I told him I was scared to do a live. And then now I'm doing lives all the time. So thank you so much, JC, for telling me to do lives, because it is working well. And I like seeing that I like talking and interacting with you guys. I think that helps a lot, to not just talk in a camera and not have anyone there. But I am totally open to constructive criticism too. There's actually people that have followed me. I have a couple of people on Facebook because Facebook's like where I have my Facebook family. Like when I first left the left and came out as conservative and lost my whole family, pretty much everyone except for my aunt and uncle stopped talking to me. And I started posting on Facebook, private account, and I started gaining like a Facebook like, just even though it was a private account, I started getting all these friend requests because I was speaking against Black Lives Matter. And there's people that have been following me on Facebook for 3 years. And there's a couple people on there where we pretty much disagree on a lot of things, like the vaccine, DeSantis and Trump, blah, blah, blah. But they're able to disagree in a way that's not like mean and not putting me down and not like saying I'm an idiot and stupid and unfollowing right away. Right. So I really appreciate those people that can have a good conversation without being rude and mean and all of that, because I get put down by the left all the time. I don't need people on the right to put me down too. Like, it's just, it is what it is. And I can have a good conversation with a leftist. I did it on the Vice debate, which they heavily edited me on. But the Vice debate, we actually had a peaceful conversation, which is a miracle nowadays. But I'm totally open to having a good debate and a good, which would be interesting to debate someone who's really pro DeSantis right now. Maybe I'll try and find a good person for that. But you'll get destroyed. Just kidding. All right. God bless you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and end with this quote from Beth. If you can't see DeSantis as a rhino, you're crazy. God bless. Bye.